All right, back on the DT 100 here. It's an illustration of the carb. And this piece here is kind of what I need. This about the 45 elbow here cable guide. Looks like it's got an adjuster nut. So there's probably something else that goes with the cable too that I don't think I have. There's a gasket there. I tried coming up with something. I'll show you what I got on the bike, but it's definitely not working out. All right, now the elbow would be nice, but I think I could get away with this if I have to. But I definitely need more throw here. I need something longer. I was going to use snowmobile stuff I had, but it was built into the cable. I didn't want to destroy it just for this. Those cables are probably worth something to somebody, probably more than his carburetor's worth. You know, the float bowl, I think, is the original one. That's probably worth something, but the rest of this carburetor, it's pretty cheap knockoff. Put one on my watch list on eBay. Guy lowered his price, and I'm like, still like, eh. And it's got a curve to it piece, but I don't think I'm going to really get anywhere with that. I think I'd go to a CR or a YZ80 or an 80 carburetor and get rid of the oil injection, delete the pump and all that before getting another one of these knockoff jobs. I'm going to see if I can get the scrapyard, maybe dig through the scrounge in the basement, maybe come up with something. Maybe the dealer's got something in their jet kit, who knows. I'll try to get something locally. Kind of tired of the parts online and getting to run around and getting garbage in the mail and waiting for garbage. So yeah, I'm gonna pop this cap off here, loosen up this screw here, loosen up this clamp here, turn it sideways a little bit, get the slide out of there. All right, pull that up there so you can see what I got going on there. There's not much of adjustment there, mainly because I've put a nut on the back side. It's not a threaded hole like I'm used to seeing on these caps on the top here. And that's how it looks from the factory too. It's just an elbow with a gasket. It's kind of not the greatest design if you ask me. Yeah, I'm gonna take that cap off, run up to the junkyard, see what I can come up with. That Loctite kind of turned gray there, at least for my eyes. Maybe it's still bluish. Yeah, definitely pretty goopy. Took that gasket out of the cap so I don't lose it. But yeah, see if I can get going up in town here. All right, down here in the basement before heading to the junkyard. Dug through them cables there. And I found, I think I might be able to use that piece right here. That cable there, that goofy thing, came off a 69 BSA Thunderbolt. Was the front brake cable contraption they had going there. But yeah, that's a good part there. Might be able to get away with something with those. I've seen a lot back here before. Well, time to go hunting. Looks like all snowmobiles. All right, back out here on the old DT 100. I'm gonna pull the tank off and take the cables off the carburetor, throttle, and the oil pump. Do some cable measuring here, see what we got going on. All right, got the fuel tank off. Got the air box side cover off, mount bolts out. Got these clamps loose in the carb. Take a look here. See that mark here, that peg. We're gonna work on getting that happy, along with the throttle travel on the slide. Good throttle right now here. Haven't taken it apart yet, but it's probably, normal play, I guess, there, but before it was taking quite a bit to get the slide to move, just to weigh stuff, fittings and whatnot. Yeah, the cable is actually in the books routed different way than how I got it routed. So I'm gonna route it the way the book says once I verify the measurement of what the parts are listed on eBay. There's some people got listed the lengths of the cable on eBay. I'm kind of going off that. There's nothing in the book, but the cable should be coming down through here. And it's actually on the other side. So, gonna get the cable out and take some measurements. Excuse me. Alright, got the oil injection pump cable out there. Gonna cut the zip tie over here on the frame. And from looking, it seems like everything I see online, the throttle's mounted up here versus under here. I've seen some bikes where it's under here. When I got the bike, it was under here. But from looking on pictures online, it seems like it's mostly at the top. If anybody's got any input on that, I'm assuming that's where it's supposed to be. Now, I mentioned cutting these bars down at one point. But if you look there, I'm going to add a kill switch here. I still think I can take off a 1/2 inch, but I might hold off on that until I get this all sorted out, throttle wise, kill switch wise. I believe this wire here would have fed to the original kill switch. All right, I'll take this here off right now. All right, we got the carb out of there. Obviously, the throttle's off. Leave this mess of stuff down here. Head over to the bench. All right, cable routing diagram. Got throttle wire 1. Let's see where that's going there. Kind of see here even where it feeds into the carb. Comes from the other side there under the frame. Throttle wire 2, see it right there. How it's on this side of the frame, or sorry, the right side, the throttle side of the frame, I guess. Better way to put it. So yeah, there it is. Gonna measure it. There's this book. I mentioned it before. It's got lots of specs in it for stuff. It's kind of cool. It's got that throttle diagram. No throttle cable measurements, so to speak of. So far, all I can find is stuff on eBay. I'm gonna dig on the forums, maybe I can find something better. But yeah, right now I'm gonna compare it to what I measured up compared to what I've seen on the eBay ads. Cables seem pretty affordable, but they also always talk about it being like that one, the upper. It doesn't mention the lower, but the picture shows the complete assembly, so kind of confused on that. Well, get to measuring. All right, here's what I came up with. Just did the old tape measure there and converted it. I'm going to go do some reading on the internet, checking eBay and maybe some forums and see what, I'm assuming this is the correct cable, but just wanted to verify it. And they don't seem too expensive, so might possibly order one up. This thing's got some stuff I had taped up. I might just tape it up, put it back in there for now. But there's a big discrepancy in cable size. I will definitely be getting new cable ordered up. All right, so I decided to go snowboarding yesterday. Didn't get a whole lot done on the bike. I did notice I got home, was being lazy, sitting on the couch, and I watched a YouTube video of a guy's got one of these, and the spring here, it seems to be on this cable, and maybe even one of these, and they're black. And looking on eBay, all the cables are black. So I'm guessing I got a mixture of stuff here. Like I said, got to verify the lengths. I got that all written down in the book, but being it'll be a while before I'd even get a cable. Usually what used to take a week takes a couple weeks or more. So we're just going to put this together and get it adjusted as best we can. Here we go. All right, you can see the throttle cable how it's routed there. You get to here, you don't see the splitter. Sometimes it's good he's got the pictures, but sometimes it's put it best where you best can put it, Like here, looks like it's right there, kind of like in that area above the pipe there, not really attached to anything. Come here, and it looks like it's maybe zip tie to that lower frame tube there sitting below everything. So, yeah, gonna get it mounted in there as best we can. Like I said, some of the cables might not be what we're supposed to be working with. We'll see here. All right, not sure it's permanent there. That zip tie, that's where I got it for now. We're gonna get this pump. See where that dot is there. Try to get it to line up with that peg right there. That dot there. This thing's, you know, it's kind of running like Fat Albert. Get that where it need be. Then we'll get the carb in. Make sure the slide on the carb's fully functioning before getting it back into the reed cage there. Yep, that's where we're headed. All right, so here we go. Again, not making a lot of sense with this. This here is pretty much, excuse me, maxed out on adjustment to get me this dot. Focus. You can see that dot and that peg. Pretty sure that's what we're referring to in the book, is that peg and that dot lining up. This doesn't seem to spring back either. There's a spring in there. I also noticed there's a direction on the wheel here. See that arrow, which way you're supposed to spin it. And I am getting oil from this pipe, excuse me, when I spin that wheel. There's measurement right in here. I have to check the book. And this plunger is moving slightly. Wheel, plunger, whatever you want to call it, for checking that gap. I don't have a lot of movement here. I don't, like, this looks pretty much maxed out. What I got to get going on the carb, I'll have to do with the carb for adjustments. Whatever I come up with there, I think I got something that'll work. But I think there's maybe a mixture of parts going on here. Not 100% sure, but check this measurement with this wheel here, this bleed wheel or whatever, it exercises a pump. I've already bled the pump earlier. Yeah, I am getting oil out of that hose like I should be that goes to the carb there. So that's a bonus. And if those marks are happy, like the book's saying is those marks, I understand it, and I should be a lot better than I was. Like I said, it was kind of Fat Albert there, pretty smoky. But yeah, let's check that measurement. Maybe hard to tell or even see how small that gap is. Very small gap. I've ran that wheel through twice, and that's about as big as the gap gets. So I'm going to throw a feeler gauge in there. All right, here it is. Rotate plastic bleed wheel. The plunger moves out, away from the body to its most outer limit. Measure the gap. Adjust with shims or whatever if you don't have it. Put the 10 thou on there, or 0.254. Didn't fit. I'm going to go down to the lowest one. It's kind of funny. I thought the gap was going to be bigger than that, but that won't fit in there. So I'm going to check go to the smallest size here, see if it fits. Okay, the smallest size there, see, I got an 8 thou. It could go a little bit less than this, but it just fits. I noticed it pick up on this or not. The light's helping or hindering. It fits. The light's not doing us any good. How about there? Anyhow, kind of hard to get a good picture of that. I'm putting it in there. Small size fits and it goes in. Seems like the wheel may deflect just slightly. I'm not that familiar with these things, like I said before. We're going to leave it alone because it's talking about shimming, and yeah, I wouldn't even know where to find shims. I'd have to make them, I suppose. Not getting into all that. All right, real quick, there it shows the guide pin. See right here, guide pin, there's that pin. There's that marking on that pulley. Also, it's hard, I didn't see it earlier, but the direction to rotate the exercise, the pump there, that you got your bleed screwed and you got just exercising it with that wheel. I also noticed in this picture that thing looks maxed out. I don't know if they're all like that. It looks different here. You know, looks like there's a bigger gap, more adjustment, but yeah, good book, I guess. I know I've kind of been like, I don't know about this book, but wasn't for this, I'd definitely be lost. Be on the internet a lot and whatnot. It's always good to get a good book. Let's get the carb hooked up, them pieces back in there, and let's get that thing that it's, you know, closing and opening travels. All right, little work stop. Well, I should say work stoppage, but this goes in here just fine. Called a work slowdown. That thing's pretty big. I don't know if that's going to need trimmed down or not. This here definitely needs drilled because I don't want to go in there. So I'm going to drill this up. You know, kind of got a little hodgepodge stuff going on here. Try to get this carb working in here. Yeah, time to get the drill bits out. All right, let's get the drilling. I already ran one hole. It's my second hole. Drill's easier than you'd think. Oh, famous last words. Get back over here. Alrighty then, hacktacular. Little compressed air and brake cleaner. Get that thing, anytime you're drilling on something like that, it's going to be going on a carburetor. Get it cleaned out real good. Don't have a whole lot of cable sticking through with this threaded down to there. So I'm going to trim her up. I'm going to leave more on this end at first. Going to take a little bit off of this end. But yeah, I can just tell by eyeballing it. I didn't try putting it together. It's like, there ain't going to be enough cable. So yeah, a little bit of trimming here. Kind of figured that. Get it clean as straight as I can so I didn't use a high speed. All right, let's take a file to that, clean that up a little bit, possibly a tap, we'll see. Far from perfect, perfect from afar. See how that fits on there, eh? All right, we after the chicken or the egg here, what's going on? Trimming the bolt part now. May have to go in the garage or back in the basement, look through some dirt bike stuff. Oop. Maybe ordering parts and wait a couple weeks. Try not to crush that thing, but I had to straighten the other one out with a pair of pliers. The hex head got a little egg shape, if you will. Stuck the nut on there for easy die making situation here in a second. That thing comes off there. Get the file real quick, huh? Let's check it out, check it out. Oh yeah, mint. Also ran this jeweler's file through there a few times. Those are nice to have. Not very expensive either. Pick up a little set of those. All right, that hacking got where we need to be, I guess, here. Get that deal there. You need to get the carb obviously back in, but hold it up here with, you know, I only got so many hands here, but got my full travels. And what's going on here? Cable. You need to go look at that pump over there. But happy with the carbs so far. Let's set this off the side and see what that pump's doing. All right, seems a trick with getting this carb in and out, at least for me, with these two boots here. Your reed cage and your boot goes to your air box. I have to loosen up, actually not loosen up, but remove the bolts from the oil tank and slide it out of its peg over here, guide pin, or whatever you want to call it. Well, I guess it's still in right there, but just being able to push that oil tank out a little to get the air box to come out more, to get that all happy in there. She's tight, man, small bike. Not a lot of room to work with in there. Actually, I moved the clip on the needle to the second from the top too, so got a few adjustments I'll be looking at here once I get it running, and probably throw some new plugs in here to get it correct plug, I guess. I'm not too sure. I never verified what plugs are in here. I'll take a look. All right, so what I'm noticing is this pulley here seems to have a lot of rocking going on. I'm not familiar with these pumps, but when I'm cycling it, throttle, I got to move it back, and I've hit it with my various lubes here. Something's just really worn. Not being familiar with them, not sure. I'm gonna fire it up for now. Yeah. Obviously it would be pumping some oil there more than it would need at idle. We'll see here. All right. Excuse me. So this thing seems to spring back pretty well. Spinning around here. You know, it's noticing this wear on this washer. Oh, there's that shim. I'm going to flip that around, I'm thinking. I think that's causing some problems there. Possibly. We'll see. All right, got it back together here. Going to check the gap again. You can see it. When I stick the feeler gauge in there, that thing's got some rocking going on there. So it's still doing its thing. Yeah, maybe looking for a used pump. Not sure yet. We'll see. All right, take back what I said. I pushed that thing back and forth a few more times. I don't know if there was a piece of grit or something. Seems like every time now it's going back to where it should. Quite a little run around from this little pump. All right, I'm gonna start it up. All right, bring you along for the smoke show here. See how it goes. Excuse me. All right. Fuel drip from the carb. It's a bonus. A little bit smoky. Yeah, need to get a kill switch on her. All right, that's going to wrap up this week's video. Happy with the carb here. Happy with that oil pump, how it's working now. Yeah, I'm going to get into electrical. Turn signals, brake switches, stop switches, kill switch. So yeah, that's next weekend's adventure. Anyhow, thanks for watching and have a good weekend. Later.